Hello, today I'm going to be talking about my online lesson project, which is Introduction to Functions, and it's going to be listed on my e-digital portfolio as well, so I'm excited to talk about it. This first part of the lesson plan is just going to be detailing specifics for the lesson plan, like what this lesson plan is going to be, what age group is going to be targeted towards, and other basic standards, what it's meant to teach. The intended audience for this lesson plan is for Algebra 1 students, be it at the 9th grade or 10th grade level, as an introductory to one of the founding aspects of mathematics. It'll be a foundation that's critical to master for later parts in the students' mathematical academic careers. They're going to be learning about the introduction of functions and how they use mathematics in the real world. Using real world applications will help students realize how extremely useful functions are in the real world, and they'll be more inclined to learn it, I feel like. They'll be able to meticulously learn this through practical applications and other and just repetition as well. The academic standards for this are taken from the Indiana Academic Standards online resources, which there's a link right here if you're interested in checking it out. It's from AI F1 to AI F3. I can pause here so you can keep reading here or not, but I'm going to be continuing on here. The learning objectives, like I've stated before, will be to have students being able to reproduce functions in mathematics independently, being able to explain those concepts of domains and ranges and functions, and students will be able to apply the use of domains and ranges to solve the basic functions. Okay, so for this first part of the engage step, for the slideshow here, our professor wanted us to use a I wouldn't say formulaic, but just a guide to help set us in the right direction here. So this first process for engaging, it'll detail how I'm going to be engaging students in the lesson plan in the first place. So I'm going to start off by using an online resource called Edpuzzle. It details the very basics of functions to help students realize the simple nature of functions as well. I can click on here as well. It's by me because it's proven right here, Brett Reedy. So it's just a simple video that plays, and they just watch it. And I have questions I created here as well, right here, like describing what input and output is. If they paid attention to the video, they can answer this question simply as well. I don't think I need to go any further than that. I obviously need to know what functions are to teach this part of the lesson plan and any other part of the lesson plan as well. But, I mean, functions are really simple and easy to explain, at least for me. So I feel like that's not going to be a problem for my students to understand as well. From there, I'll be asking my students if they think this concept, functions, are really useful in the real world. And just have them think about that for a minute or two. And then once we get back together, I'll have a group discussion here, which doesn't sound practical at first for a math class, but by engaging students in I'd say more of a I wouldn't say philosophical, but just talking about past life experiences and having a self-reflecting moment, students will be able to realize that basically every student has used functions before in some way, shape, or form, which will boost the confidences of my students in their learning, because they believe, oh yeah, I can definitely use this. I definitely know what I'm doing here. I've done this before. Why should I be worried? I got this in the bag. It'll boost their confidence, as well as improving classroom rapport and helping build connections in the classroom. I just want to build a positive environment for my classmates to thrive and to do well academically and socially as well. From there, I'll be asking about functions and telling them that functions are found in the real world, in case I still have any skeptical students in my classroom. And just be talking about the foundation of this lesson plan, talking about how important they are. The engage activity relates to learning objectives, because in order for a student to replicate functions and to understand them by themselves, they have to be first introduced to them and to relate to them with prior knowledge. And from these past experiences from these students' lives, they can be more engaged as a whole, which I believe is why I believe this kind of activity fits the engage section as well. Now for the explore category, This is just basically deep diving into the topic as well, so we're just exploring the basic concepts of functions as well. I have another online resource I created. Oh, I didn't create, but I'm drawing from the function builder or whatever from FET Online. It's a really solid resource, and it's really good at targeting students who learn best through physical actions and activities rather than just lectures. I also created a Jamboard right here. Well, not Jamboard. Sorry, that's later. The function builder is right here. If we go from here, we can go with numbers, and we can just mess around with it for a bit. So we have 1. It's just a number right there. Now if we add a +2, it changes to 5, and then -1, that changes to a 3. It's just really interesting, and it's a really good introductory tool to introduce students to functions as a whole without not seeming intimidating as well. And it also teaches domain and range values as well, which is critical to understanding functions. After my students have experimented with the function builder, I'll ask them to comment their thoughts on here, and this is the Jamboard that I was talking about earlier. From there, they can just comment what they noticed about the function builder and any other interesting thoughts they had. This is obviously like an example, so students have the right idea. And from there, I'll be going on to the explain area of the project, of the lesson plan. You get what I mean. It's just going to be explaining the concepts now in a simple and easy way to digest. From here, I'll be using a pre-recorded screencasting video of myself that explains the concept of functions, and my students will be asked to watch this. And if they have any questions, I want to encourage them to ask, because I want them to be able to clear any misconceptions they have over this topic now, so that they have less roadblocks or hiccups later when tests and other homework assignments are assigned. So I have a video right here.
Hello class, today we're going to be learning more about the basics of functions here. I have a few problems I have set up that are going to help us figure out how the process equal to 2x. We'll start simple here, and excuse the bad writing by the way as well. This is my first time using like a whiteboard with a mouse here. And we can start off here by having the problem plug in 2 for x, because that's how I want to start and build up the foundation here. I want to have all my students understand, if we can figure out the process of plugging x in for numbers in for x, that's the foundation of functions, and that's how we can solve for future problems that are a little bit more complicated in this course. So if we plug in 2 here, the problem simply turns into this kind of notation, which basically just turns down to being 2 times 2. And last time I checked, I mean, you guys are pretty smart. I'm pretty sure you can figure out that 2 times 2 equals 4. So the conclusion to this problem, or I guess the answer, would technically be f of 2 equals 4.
And it's just basic concepts like that. I just want to make it easily digestible, so students will have an easy time understanding it and being able to apply it easily on the homework. Because that's all I want to make my content easy to digest, so that students will have a fun time learning in my classroom.
Hello, class.
Sorry about that. From there, I want to ask my students what they learned from the video and any other questions, like I said, to clear up any misconceptions that they have. And yeah, that's basically the explain area. This applying step, I'll show how to apply these problems. Basically, they'll just be doing example problems to help familiarize the concepts of functions as well, which will help them being able to efficiently create and get correct answers on future math problems in the future. How I'm able to have my students post these answers will be through Flipgrid. Once they'll be going through the assignments on their own or during the online lesson, and they'll be able to click on this Flipgrid right here, and they'll be able to answer the problems themselves through video like recordings, which is really cool. But yeah, if I'm doing this as we're going here, I'll wait for them to finish for the most part, give them like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll take them through the process and show them all the steps required to solve the problems so that they can easily find a digestible way to solve the problem and see if they get it right. And I don't want them to feel bad if they get it wrong because these are new concepts. I just want to help them build upon the knowledge that they receive and to keep going from there. So, as you can see, f of x equals 3x plus 3. If you plug in, solve for f of 3, you just plug in 3 for x, and you can go from there, combine like terms, and f of 3 would equal 12. That would be the answer to the problem. And then it just repeats from there. Introducing subtraction instead of addition. It's the same concept, essentially. And then this adds addition and subtraction. Okay. Anyway, so to top off the lesson here, after they apply a bit of their time and academic hard work on the apply step here to help familiarize the concepts, I want them to reflect on what they've learned and how they can use functions more in the classroom. Because if I can get them to think about functions on the outside of the classroom, they'll be on their minds more and they'll be able to like apply and familiarize the concepts even more. So I just used a Google form that I created to document basic things like what they learned, first and last names, important things they learned in the class, what they did and did not understand. And since I'm a new teacher, I always appreciate criticisms or feedbacks so I can help improve the class dynamic and make my job and my students' lives easier. So constructive criticism would really help me a lot. That's why this is at the very end of the exit ticket as well. And then for the homework assignment, I'd have them check the textbook that I have assigned, the homework problems for there. So pretty simple, not too hard, I don't think. And then the sharing is just if there's any questions they have, I want to stress the amount of questions. I just want to make sure that they understand everything before I end off this lesson. Because I just want to stay communicating and connected with students. That's the most important thing here. If I stay connected and communicate with students, they'll be able to understand my content more, and they'll be doing better and better in the classroom as well as a result. As long as I'm also building social connections as well. So thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to this explanation of my online lesson project. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.